Hello and welcome to ABW Live. Where is it? Where's it gone? Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a crime at Carrow Road. What? It's plain blood. My hat doesn't fit properly, does it? There we go. There has been a crime at Carrow Road. Nick, as our reporter on the scene, Nick, is there rioting on the streets? Our people need to know.
No, there's no riots on the streets. Everyone's just walking home, doing their usual crying game as they have one game all season.
Well, you've kind of ruined that then, haven't you? Thanks. Well,
you went to the wrong guy because
Mike and my fellow partner in crime solving can you see Norwich, Mike? And is there rioting going on?
There are canaries flying all over the place. They're pooping on all the supporters. It is a shitty situation, but they feel hard done by, as they should.
And Karl, in your part of London, is there rioting on the streets? Is there two Norwich fans standing next to each other going, I don't think that's right, mate? And everyone's going, awful situation.
Well, they're probably having
from Ireland.
They're having problems counting their 6 fingers because little web toes down there. Present company excluded, obviously.
But not Ellis.
Ellis has got 17 toes. I'm quite sure of it. But
on each foot,
100%. And I didn't realise I'm starting to really hate certain football clubs. Leeds, I always hating Leeds because they're just pricks. But I hate Norwich as well. They were dirty today. Like they tried to kick us and mow. So it may be fuck Ellis and also fuck Norwich as well. Because clearly they had a problem. But we'll talk about it later.
Jolly good. Right, everybody in a good mood. That's the important thing. Should we go and say hello to some of the beautiful people in the chat room? Let's do that. Actually,
I think you should say hello to the beautiful people and the fugly people that are in there as well.
And the fuglies. The fugly buglies. I'm just I didn't do any tweets say that we were live. And look, there's 25 people here already. Right, first of all, we have Nick Fights in the chat. This is one of the few occasions someone's in the chat and I can ask them, are you all right, Nick Fights?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Good. That's that sorted. God, we're fixing crimes all night long. I'm there. Formerly, Noza is there. Ahoy, it's 5-0 to the Arsenal now. Yeah, if you're watching on Facebook, Facebook is a pain in the arse and it won't let you change any of the details with 5 minutes to go. Sai is there as usual. I've been smiling throughout the game. One of those happy, happy days. Michael in Sweden says hello, says hi. Mr. Waffles in top left-hand corner of America. Remember, we can't tell you where he is because he's on the run from the FBI. Nice late Christmas gift.
I would have thought Belgium.
Oh, yes. Rocky is good afternoon, guys. Michael has followed that up. See, Michael is doing the right thing here. That's Michael on YouTube. That's Michael on Twitch. So if every one of you had it on 3 or 4 accounts, we'd be about 10% of what other podcasts get. That's great. Michael says, here we go. Saka and Emile Smith Rowe. Oh, I think I messed that up. That's awful, isn't it? Stream Elements is there as usual. Bullyingers, don't know what they're on about. BX Gunner. Oh, there's a picture of you and a small person. I created a small person. It says, oh, to be a gooner. Julio Salmondo is not said where he is on the run yet. We might find out later. Give me points in bag anyway over games in hand. That is very true because quite a few teams. Commentary in USA, absolute shit. They were begging Norwich to leave something on our players. Yes, Mike's already brought that up. Mr. Waffles, yep, bunch of whining little bitches. Oh. Polar Nights. That's a very nice name. As a barber, I love this podcast. It is every stage of beard growth. Actually, just for you, Polar Lights, as you are new, we have a Dennis Bergkamp with a full beard. We'll leave that up. So there you go. You are indeed Nick we'll just show the people. Nick's beard, hardly any. Karl's beard, a nicely coiffured beard. Mike slept on a bench too much. Me, it's not really worth talking about, is it? So there you go. Nice to have you here, Polar Knights. Nice to see new people. Julio, the good. No, he's not told us where he is. So I'm not reading his stuff. Davidson is Vlahovic will make us title contenders. Not unless we're Juventus fans, he won't be. VJ, looking forward to a merry show, and that's what you're going to get, VJ. Rudy Rastos, he's going to give us some votes. Hopefully, they're going to be. Oh, we got a thumbs up from someone. Ryan Ozil, Rian Ozil. Well, hello, Rian on Facebook. Sorry, it says 4-0. They wouldn't let us change it. Old Maka, Stefan, hi, gentlemen, and Mike. That's a good point. Bulgarian Guna, Drago says.
Danny.
Yeah?
Are we going to read out every single comment? Are we going to talk about the game?
No, I'm just going to read one from everybody. There's one from Drago there, one from Apurv, one from Dan Wickstrom. Well, that sounds.
And this has been a Bergkamp Wonderland.
Yeah.
No, Jesus, Danny, let's talk about the game, please.
It's nice to say, Karl, if you were in the chat, you'd want to be acknowledged. And
no, I wouldn't. They're not here to be acknowledged. They're here to talk about the game and see Nick's lovely looks. So can we crack on with the first goal, which was who? None of you know who the first goal was. You bloody bastards.
Bukayo Saka.
It was.
Right, you had your chance, Karl. I'm back in charge. There we go. Right, let's go, people. 8th minute, Saka goal. Tierney breaks up play on the left wing. Laka gives it to Martinelli, who passes it sideways across the pitch to Odegaard, who also passes it across the pitch to Saka on the right-hand side of their box, Karl. Jinks past his man and spanks it low and hard into the bottom left-hand side of the net. And that goalkeeper, the last time we played a Premier League game was for Southampton and they lost 9-0, Karl. Did their goalkeeper look convincing? And what did you think of the legend, the wonderful man that is Saka? Just taking the piss, really, wasn't he?
He was. He's been playing well lately. I think he had a good game against West Ham, didn't he? When they had 3 men on him and they couldn't handle him. And Norwich today definitely couldn't handle him, which was good to see that he's kind of maybe coming into his own. He was almost Robin-esque, wasn't it, when he cuts in on his left foot and fires it kind of low and hard. And that's what we want. I think that's the thing that's missing from Saka's game, the goals. And I think a lot of people were saying that he needs to have an end product. I mean, Saka can run past people for days and get assists, and that's really good. But I think we were all missing sort of goals from his game. And he's now adding that, which is a very good thing, 2 goals today. And that's what he needs, is confidence. Like, when a player has confidence, it does wonders for them. And irrespective of whether it was Norwich or whoever, Saka today played really well. And we're going to need Saka going into the season because obviously, you know, we're in that title run for the top 4. Top 4. But the goal today, his first goal, I thought was absolutely brilliant. And that's why he plays on the right-hand side. So he can come in on his left foot and fire it into the goal or assist. So I think that was a brilliant goal.
That is very well put. We've got someone else on Facebook who has given us a little thing. It is John Umar Achola. I hope I got your name right, John. Thank you very much for giving us a thumbs up on Facebook, and I've done it also as well. Anyone else joined us new? I think Polar Knights might be a Liverpool fan. We don't mind. Bloody good side. Just looking, Mike, looking at the, where was I up to? I saw Sophie mention something on Twitter from the Highbury squad, and she said, what has the stats been since Alba has been dropped? Everybody, this is amazing. The 6 games before he was dropped, won 4 and lost 2, scored 9, conceded 7, and it was 5 league games and 1 cup game. So, and this time it's won 5, lost 1, scored 20, conceded 3. So it's before it's scored 9, conceded 7. So a goal difference of 17 over 6 games compared to 2, Mike. Do you have any thoughts on that?
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to point out, everyone had been saying
you took the grass off my pizza.
I did, and I fed it to your daughter, which is weird. But yeah, I mean the thing that everyone's been saying about ESR, Martinelli, Saka, we've got no secondary scoring. If Aubameyang doesn't score, we don't score. Well, maybe the solution is you force other people to to be touching the ball in the final third. You don't try to force everything through one player who's struggling for confidence right now. And I was going to actually ask the question, which you've now answered, which is, Saka, Emile, Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe was scoring a little bit before Aubameyang left. I mean, he got the goal against Leicester. I believe he scored in one of the other games surrounding that one while I was over in October. But they're just scoring for fun now. And yes, the opponents have been put in front of us, not anyone of great esteem. But all of a sudden, all of these these runs are being made. These passes are going through the middle instead of just from the outside. We're seeing completely different players attacking and adding that end product that they've been missing before. And I can't help but think that this is an example of addition by subtraction yet again, where we have a player who might be very talented, might be someone who's done a lot for the club, but just like Mesut Ozil, just like other situations, when you get them out of the system, it gives other people a chance to blossom, and it's a much more well-rounded team right now and a much more talented offense right now with him out of it.
Ah, good. Kayan is there in Jamaica. Hello, Kayan. And Julio Salmondo is in Kathmandu. I think that's just south of Bedford. So that's good. So Karl doesn't shout at me again. Nick, when was the last time? Do you remember that? Oh, actually, we've had another thumbs up on Facebook. We've had a heart from Adi Masadi. Well, thank you very much. That's 4. We've never had 4 before. Lovely. Nick, when was the last time you remember the Arsenal playing in a way where we had goals coming from throughout the midfield, whether it be on the left-hand side from Martinelli, who's banging them in and an absolute threat, Saka on the right, just at times it looks like he's taking the piss. It's so easy. Ødegaard pulling the strings in the middle. And who else is there? ESR going, oh, come on, have 5 minutes, get yourself a goal, son.
I think that's going back probably over 10, nearly 15 years. The season after Henry left for Barcelona, because I think the last season we had with him, that was just, everyone was just like, give it to Henry. He's the main man. Just give it to him. And when he left, everyone was saying, oh, who's going to score the goals? But then season after that, everyone actually started stepping up. And like I say, throughout the whole midfield. And I think we've struggled the last, 2-3 seasons to get goals out of anyone that's not Aubameyang, pretty much.
That's true. That is. No, we got someone from Singapore. It's 1 a.m. and gosh, I'm happy. Simon Wong. Had you finished your point, Nick? Because I think you might have had.
Yeah.
I'm not like you lot. I'm not just sitting here making interesting points. I'm tweeting. I'm running the show. You know what it's like, Karl, don't you? It's not easy.
Exactly. It's not, and you make it look very easy. So I've just got a quick question on obviously Aubameyang being out of the squad. Like Nick alluded to, when Henry was there, do you remember that when we used to play, it was always give the ball to Henry, and like Fabregas, that was his main aim. It was almost like when Fabregas was in the team, his main aim was to give the ball to Henry, because it's almost like if he didn't pass to him, he would have like a hissy fit. So it did become very easy to play against Arsenal, because it was very hard to mark Henry, granted, because he was a fantastic player. But if you did man mark Henry, you can almost say that Arsenal's attack kind of was failed. And maybe it was the same from Aubameyang. I mean, if you think about it, you've got a 32-year-old up front, and you've got teenagers behind him. So obviously, if you got a bunch of teenagers playing behind him, the first thing they want to do is just give the ball to him, because he's the captain, the talisman. So it's almost like if you don't give the ball to him, then he might have a hissy fit. I'm not saying he does, but it could possibly happen. And now they're playing with such freedom, where you can tell that Lacazette, he does so much selfless work. I mean, sometimes you see Lacazette in midfield. I mean, sometimes you don't want to see him there, but he does. He holds up play well, and then he gets the likes of Saka running on, and ESR and Ødegaard, and the overlap of Kieran Tierney as well. So it is brilliant, and I think that no one knows whether Aubameyang has got a way back into the squad. Personally, I think after the African Cup of Nations, I think we'll be definitely trying to sell him like during the African Cup of Nations. But it's whoever takes him. But what I do hope is that although he's out the squad now, it's a long season, and I don't want to sell him or put him on loan, or however he leaves the squad, and we don't have a replacement for him.
Yeah, because we might need one. I think they said the stat today that was Lacazette's second goal in 10 games, and that was a penalty. And it doesn't look like Eddie is going to be used for the league games because did Eddie even come on today? The last lot of
No.
a lesser spotted Nicolas Pepe came on. That was nice to see. Right, Mike, what was the point? We're going to go to the next goal, weren't we? Well, should we talk a little bit about in our WhatsApp group? We John and a few others were talking about Xhaka getting forward, which I thought that was nice to see. We didn't expect it. And then the Xhaka booking, Nick. What exactly did Xhaka do wrong to get that booking, apart from being Xhaka, which I think is the usual answer for everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's being Xhaka. They were talking about him last week because obviously he probably got away with one in the last game where he was a bit, went over the top and it was a little bit stampy.
A little bit stampy.
Yeah, a little bit stampy. And then obviously we were talking about the whole Harry Kane thing not getting booked. And then I think it was, I'm trying to think, I want to say Peter Walton, I want to say one of the ex-referees came out and said that the referees are told to use people's reputation, in their decision when they book people. So obviously they say people like Harry Kane, England's darling, he's not that type of player. Even though he does like to back into people and flip them up and land them on their head quite a bit, but he's too busy because he obviously can't count goals this season. I think he scored one all season, one or two all season. Well, two. He's getting up to double figures. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he got booked. He probably should have been booked, but it's Xhaka, so they book him, don't they? What can he do? I mean, I remember when we signed him, and he was never a defensive midfielder. All I remember was the media just going mad. Oh, he got sent off 3 times last season. And I remember speaking to my dad. He said he's just a marked man before he's even kicked a ball for Arsenal. And then a couple of seasons after that, Liverpool signed Naby Keita from was it Red Bull or whatever it was, Red Bull.
RB Leipzig.
Yeah, and he had 4 red cards the season before he joined them. They just never mentioned it, and that's just it's perception and how the media can actually influence how games work and the referees and stuff like that.
I've seen it a couple times in the chat already. Did you over in the UK have the same commentary where they basically said, when in doubt, book Xhaka?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we have different commentary than you. Sometimes it's the same on the world feed. But
I was watching a South African. I was watching SuperSport. They had English commentators, and one of them, I think, used to play for Norwich because he knew Brian Gunn, the goalkeeper, because that was Brian Gunn's son was playing in goal.
Yeah, I mean and I'm no fan of Granit Xhaka by any means, but there are. For what Xhaka did, you could have given 6 people a yellow card, or you could have given no one a yellow card, other than the person who committed the foul in the first place. So I don't even think got one. But yeah, I mean that's a bit ridiculous. Good on him for not getting a second one, I suppose. Although there have been times where I was kind of rooting for him to get a second yellow card late in the game so that we could go a few games without him. But this particular moment in our season would not be the best time for that, I suppose. Right before AFCON with the fixture congestion.
Indeed, Karl. So I go to. Have you got something to say, or shall I go to the third?
No, I was gonna say Mike's spot on. Like, it was really weird how, of all that melee that happened, it was handbags. It clearly was that Granit Xhaka was the only person that got a card. And it was just really weird. Like, I don't understand it. But like Nick said, maybe he's being refereed by reputation, and it's just weird. Like, these players develop these reputations and you don't even know why. Look, Xhaka can be a prick and he can be a bit of an idiot sometimes. There's no doubt in that. He's not an angel, not in the least. But you're supposed to give everyone a clean slate at the beginning of every game, but it doesn't seem like that's happening with Granit Xhaka.
Danny,
anyone other than Dan? Oh, sorry, Nick. Anyone other than Dan old enough to remember the last bout of handbags between Arsenal and Norwich? In '89, there was a famous game which was 2 months into my Arsenal fandom, a 4-3 at Highbury with just, for football standards, it was a massive brawl, actually, and I was devastated because it was the one game my mom, I forgot what the reason was, maybe Thanksgiving or something, my mom would not let me go to that game, and it was one of the best games of the season. But so Norwich are always, every 32 years they look for the Hargy Bargy.
What are you going to say, Nick?
I was going to say, do you think Xhaka is actually a dirty player and that's why he gets a lot of cards, or do you think he's just really crap at tackling?
I think he's just a good-looking bastard who's rock hard. And so in my time, I've been quite lucky to have some absolute rock hard bastard friends, huge fuckers. And whenever we went out, they were always the one that other people picked on. There was Big Dave, 6 foot, not you, 6'7" Dave was, and he was an absolute monster. And Julian, another big bloke, he used to get people used to give him grief for no reason. And so Xhaka's just everyone knows he's the hard man of our team. He's a kind of modern day defender of all of his teammates, which is what we need on the pitch, because we saw the Tomiyasu kick in the face. No one went up to the referee and shouted and screamed, and that's why we got away with it. And that is what is missing when you don't have a Kolasinac or a Xhaka on the pitch. And as Kolasinac does not fit in the Arsenal, the Arteta mould of playing, he's not going to play. So we need. Is it an enforcer, Karl? Is that the right word to use? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely like a hard man, someone who, a Patrick Vieira type. That's the sort of person we need. Yep. Where if something happens, that person's going to be right in the middle of it. But they need to be smart about it. Like, you can't go in there, punch someone in the face, and then be like, I don't know what you're talking about, ref. Like, they need to be smart and tactical.
You have to grab the balls when no one's looking. I mean,
the armpit hair, like things like that. Like Vinnie Jones. Like that's the sort of person that we need. But yeah, Granit Xhaka, I just think that what Nick, like going back to Nick's point, Granit Xhaka is not a stupid player. He knows what he's doing. I do think that he just needs to calm down a little bit. Like, I don't want to take whatever it is in his game, I don't want to remove that from him. What you need to remove is the being stupid, like the being silly stuff. Like today was an absolutely pointless yellow card, absolutely pointless. However, I like Mike said, I'm happy that he didn't get a second yellow card, because even in our WhatsApp group, I said the same thing. Like, I would have taken off Granit Xhaka for El Nene rather than Partey, just because Granit Xhaka has got it in him. Like, no matter what, he's got it in him. I mean, let's be honest, we lost the Everton game because Granit Xhaka couldn't make that tackle.
I was just about to say that was the rare time where you probably would have liked him to go in and take the red, because he actually did pull off of the guy, and it led to the goal.
Yeah, and that's had he not have gotten a yellow card earlier in the game, he would have taken him out. He would have taken him out, and we would have stopped the attack, and more than likely would have drawn that game. But for the simple reason that he got a stupid yellow card in that game, he couldn't do it because he risked a red card, and then this happened. So, like I said, I don't want to remove that from Granit Xhaka's game, because we need that, because everyone in Arsenal's too nice. You look at the Arsenal squad and you think, oh, Emile Smith-Rowe, he's a lovely boy. Look at Saka, oh, he's a lovely lad. Like Partey, oh, he's a dancer and he's cool. There's no one, even Ben White, like, I don't know why people seem to be picking on Ben White lately. They seem to be really, like, against Leeds as well, they wanted to fight him. Norwich as well, they wanted to fight him. I don't know what it is about Ben White. Maybe they think that he's the weakest person in the squad and they can sort of pick on him. But nah, we need Granit Xhaka, unfortunately. I never thought I'd ever hear myself saying that. And I can imagine Chris Carpenter right now is having to change his snakeskin trousers. Like
he's cutting up trousers and throwing them at the screen. We got.
Did you see that tweet from him the other night?
He has got, how many pairs has he got, Nick? Karl, did he say 25 pairs of garish trousers?
Yes. It was just a Christmas photo of his leopard trousers with his thighs. And
if people are good, I might share a screen of some of Chris's trousers if we get on with it. Right, Rudy, as always, thanks for going and getting the quote on Arteta. Not Rudy on Arteta. Arteta's quote from today: collectively and individually, we had some big performances. You don't win 5-0 away from home if you don't have that. I'm really happy with all of the boys. Can't argue with that, can you, anybody? Another one here, Rudy. Thank you very much. The support that we're getting in every ground from our supporters is very much linked with the way we can transmit the way we want to play. Mike, you've been to quite a few games recently. Did you see that translated from the crowd onto the pitch?
100%, and unfortunately only one game away from home. But I mean that game, it was almost you felt, to borrow an annoying American sports term, you felt like the 12th man, because the team does feed off of it, and it's been readily apparent in the recent run that we've had, the last 5, 6, 7 games, many of which have been good away performances, that the crowd and the team are in sync. And it sounds like a silly thing to say, because the team should be leading the crowd. If the team's playing poor, the crowd's going to be sluggish. If the team's playing great, the crowd's going to have a lot to cheer about. But it almost feels simpatico at this point, where it's a mutual thing. And the more you see from guys like Ramsdale, the more you see from Tierney, his celebration after his goal today, the second goal today. I had to check whether he was doing this in front of the away supporters, or if he was doing it at the Norwich supporters, because it came right after that initial set of handbags. But it was to the away supporters. But I mean, there's a teamwork thing going on right now between the support, especially the away from home, and the team right now, and it's just amazing to be part of. I wish I was out there today. I wish I was out there in the last game. It's
on the pitch. You wish you were out on them anyway. Never mind. Stokes, why haven't you given this podcast a thumbs up, you cheeky monkey? We're still only on 4 on Facebook. Sort it out. The Arsenal Luchador, Senor Xhaka eats dirty biscuits. Arriba! There you go. I've seen it exactly how you do it. I only know how to do that because I had some hot food. Right, next one, Nick. Next goal is gonna be. Were we up to that? Was 66 minutes. Kieran Tierney to Lacazette.
By the way, I think Mike Hernandez just reported your podcast for that.
Good. Told me to do it.
You've lost a listener.
I don't think we talked about Tierney's first goal yet, or his goal, the second goal.
1, 2, 3.
We haven't talked about
you're right. 42 minutes. That's why I paused. I wasn't sure where we were. 42 minutes. Martinelli on the right wing, Nick. Into Odegaard, who runs a bit and passes it on to an on-running Kieran Tierney down the left, who decides to run in, cut in across goal, much like Saka did with his goal, and spank it left-footed, bottom right hand. Was it right-footed or left-footed?
I think it was right-footed.
It would have had to have been right-footed the way.
Yeah, of course it would. I haven't put it here. I'm just thinking, and slots it past the keeper, just like Saka did in the bottom right-hand corner of the net. Did you think, Nick, that the goal that our players had already figured out their goalkeeper's weak points, as in you kick the ball at him and he's in trouble, let alone if you place it in the corners? Because both of those 2 goals were placed, weren't they?
Yeah, it was one of those cross-come passes, really, where it went. I mean, that's always lovely when it goes in off the post as well. And I mean, so his last 2 games he's played, he's now conceded 14 goals. So that poor bloke, he must be knackered. And I think it's just more proof that just because your dad played football, that doesn't mean you should. I mean, he's a lovely bloke, but I remember years ago when one of Beckham's lads had like a trial at Arsenal, and I think he lasted a day.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, yep, fair enough. And this lad, I mean, Tim Crawley got COVID yesterday morning. They announced it, and I could have got tickets and gone today, but 1, I was coming on here. 2, it's cold and rain, and plus that I knew Norwich were trying really hard to get it called off last night as well. But it is what it is. But oh dear, who the hell is there? There he is.
Brian
Norwich
Gunn.
legend.
That is Brian Gunn, Norwich legend, hell of a goalkeeper. That's what he was looking like in the crowd today, Nick. What has happened to Brian Gunn?
He watched his son play.
Yeah.
Well, this was just before. This after about 3 minutes. God knows what he was looking after 5-0.
He'd have got closer to that penalty than his boy would, even at that size.
Now
you make a great point. You make a great point about not doing what your dad did, because my dad was a podiatrist, and when I was over at Danny's house a couple months ago, I tried to get rid of an ingrown toenail for him, and it was a nightmare. So just stick to your own thing. Don't, Brian, the son should have done like insurance or drove on the tube or something like that.
I just hope that Brian isn't ill, because if he's ill, I withdraw all of my comments. But he doesn't look ill there, does he? He just looks, his glasses are in the wrong place and he's pissed off, and it's very, very cold, so your face goes red.
To be fair,
he might be ill, but that doesn't make you look like angry. Yeah.
So. To be fair, the bloke's looked like he's had leukemia for 35 years. So I think it's just he's another one like John Joe Shelby at Newcastle. Like the Newcastle Voldemort. He just got that look about him. But yeah, lovely goal for
Shouldn't be laughing at that.
You love it, Mike.
You've heard of Mike's charity, haven't you?
Gooners, there's some guys that look like that.
Yeah, but it's right, better to look like that than not actually be like that, though.
Yeah, yes. That's true.
Yes, so Nick's allowed to say that because he's under fear of his own life when Norwich is rioting. Oh, here we go from Arteta. Rudy, another quote. We looked really sharp and committed. It's a big win for us today. Didn't say today. I am really pleased. The amount of chances we create is pleasing. We broke the record in the last game, didn't we, Karl? The most number of shots on target in the first half of a Premier League game ever for any team.
We did. It was against West Ham. Was it against West Ham, wasn't it? When we had 11, in the first half. The contrast and the change is for Arsenal is really good, because do you remember a couple of years ago when we didn't have a shot on goal, that we used to go at 90 minutes and have like 2 shots on goal under Emre? So like it's good that it's changed and we're creating chances, and it's all down to some of the players who were brought in, and you've got to give the manager credit as well. But
it was Leeds.
Martin Odegaard. Oh, Leeds, that's the one, yeah. But Martin Odegaard as well. He's come in and he's transformed us. I mean, there was people crying out for James Maddison at the beginning of the season when we bought Odegaard. They wanted Maddison for 70 million, but we got Odegaard for 35, and look how that's turned out to be. And look, we're only 3 months into the season, but if Odegaard keeps playing the way he's playing, the biggest compliment I can give to Martin Odegaard is that he's keeping Emile Smith-Rowe out of the side. And that is the biggest compliment I can give him, because you think of Emile Smith-Rowe, he would walk in to more than likely, you're looking at maybe 15 of the 20 Premiership clubs. And at the moment, he can't start for Arsenal, I should say. So that just says it all for me.
It's a great situation.
It is. It's one of those brilliant situations to have. It's a good problem to have.
Same thing going on at left back right now. I mean, Tierney was kept out of the lineup by somebody who was performing well. Tierney was kind of slowly coming back from an injury. He wasn't rushed back. We didn't need him back. And we've seen a better Kieran Tierney since he's reclaimed his spot than the entirety of the beginning part of the season before he got injured and missed a few games. So, I mean, Tierney has just come back and been the Tierney that we thought we had originally, and that, and so those two positions more than any else, we're seeing guys who should be starting in the Premier League who can't get it. And I'm here to say that I'd like that at all 11 positions.
There we go, people. Some stats for you to warm the cockles of your heart. ESR has come on in 3 consecutive Premier League games as a substitute and scored in all 3. He has scored 4 goals in his last 4 Premier League games, and he has scored 7 Premier League goals in his last 9 Premier League games. And of those, he didn't play all of them. The last 3 he came on. He came on in the dying minutes of the game. He got 24, 12, and 8. But then you look at Odegaard in his last 6 Premier League games, 3 goals and 3 assists. This is the stuff that is. I'm not even brought up Saka. This will just. I'll have you lot all bleeding, crying. Here we go. I'm just going to get Saka's stats up for the Premier League for the last 5 few games. Where is it? Here it is. He has got last 4 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. That is absolutely fantastic. This is and these kids are barely out of nappies. Let's move on and look at the next goal and do the right one this time. 66 minutes, Karl. Katie Laka, Odegaard across to Saka, who shimmy shammy, that's the technical term, on the edge of their box on the right-hand side, and does his usual jinx left and runs a bit and then spanks it low and hard with his left foot into the far left-hand corner. Low, hard and slow, Karl. That's the way he did it, and it worked, and just like the Kieran Tierney goal, wasn't it? Stunning. He knew what he was doing. No flukes.
Again, he's channeling his inner Iron Robin. And if Saka can be a player that Iron Robin was, we definitely got a good player on our hands. Saka, this is what, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, Saka needs to add goals to his game, and he's now doing that, which is an absolutely brilliant thing for Arsenal and for him as well. Definitely for him as well, because people, if you look on Twitter, there's always people comparing Saka to the other youngsters in the game. That Mason Greenwood's a good player. He does score goals. He can't get a game of Man United at the moment, but there are people like that. And then you look at him, and even the Mason Mounts as well, and you're like, well, is Saka better than? I mean, I know they play different positions, but they're still younger. And I think that Saka, what he's doing this season is brilliant. I mean, like you said, Danny, the guy is 19, 20 years old, and he's on the world stage, almost carrying Arsenal on his back, because for a few seasons he has done that. He's been that guy to carry Arsenal, and now to see that he's actually flourishing in a system that probably works for him now, because like Mike alluded to, with Aubameyang not being there, maybe it's giving him the impetus to say, but I need to now try and see if I can score. I need to make sure I'm a bit better. And then you've got Lacazette being selfless in drawing out defenders, and then Saka's got the chance to run. I think, I'm not the sort of person who says, well, it's only Norwich. You can only play who's put in front of you. There's 19 other teams in the league, and you have to play them twice. And it just so happens that we are scoring brilliant goals and loads of goals against these lesser teams. Yes, it would be nice to score goals and beat teams, higher in the table. But sometimes you need to know your targets. And beating Norwich today 5-0 is brilliant. And if Saka can get loads and loads of goals throughout this whole season, I'm not saying. Listen, I think someone like Saka, you got to aim for like 10 goals. If Saka can get 10 goals this season, I don't think there's a single Arsenal supporter that wouldn't be happy. Because 10 goals for me from a winger, he's 19, 20 years old. For me, that's brilliant. I mean, Nick, what do you think that the benchmark for Saka should be this season?
Well, so I mean, for a player like him, especially now Aubameyang's gone, he should be getting into double figures pretty much if he's going to stay at Arsenal for the rest of his career, which obviously he should get double figures every season for the next 10 seasons. I can't see why not.
Oh, hold on, Nick.
Oh,
I just had a moment. Carry on.
Oh, hey, right, Dan, you're having a heart attack, are you?
It's just a thought of all those players doing that for the next 10 seasons. Hold on. I've done it again. I'm gonna have to go and have a lay down. Sorry, people.
You did say you were having nightmares. You wake up and then you see that Saka and Smith Rowe have joined Man City, and you were like, "Oh no!"
Don't ruin it, Nick. You want to fucking roll there? Go with it.
But yeah, I mean, that's like Karl said. These two boys, Smith Rowe and Saka, coming through. I mean, I remember saying a couple of seasons ago, when the Pirate was saying we've got to sign that, was it Owusu, whoever it was. And I was saying, no, we've got this Smith Rowe lad, we've got Saka, just play him. And the problem is so many clubs now, for how the managers come and go so quickly, they won't gamble on the academy. They won't. There's so many, little Charlie coming through in the game last week as well. How have we got so many good youngsters coming through at the same time? Whereas, I mean, I remember 10 years ago when Jack came through, and that was one. I know we've got two, possibly three, gonna hit form, and hit their plum all at the same time. If Arteta can get the striker situation sorted out, we could really have a go for the league.
Easy, Nick.
You've overdone yourself, Mike.
We've had such shit luck with player transfers and stuff for so long. All of a sudden, it's could it be the gods trying to even things up a little bit by saying, okay, you've got these guys now, it's up to you not to screw this up.
Right, I know we're going a little bit long. If you need to leave, you can.
No.
Okay.
We're set for 6 o'clock now.
Okay, lovely. Formerly knows that always makes good points. They say I do like the idea of Erdegaard on in the 10, Saka on the right, Smith Rowe on the left, and Martinelli up front as a front four. They can develop together and to form an awesome foursome. I like that, the awesome foursome. Go on, then. What do you think?
Martinelli, everyone talks about Martinelli in the 9, and I'm sure he would do bits there. But when you see what he was doing in the 80th minute of this game,
doesn't stop, does he?
He doesn't stop, and he was 15 yards, 15 meters, whatever, from his own goal, stopping an attack from Norwich by himself. Like I don't see that part of his game being available to us if he's playing in the 9. If he's kind of a center forward position, I see it much more when he was on the wing. I mean, I don't know where he's more comfortable. I don't know where ultimately he's going to play when he's on the Brazil first team, which should be probably sooner rather than later. But that part of his game is so important to what we're doing. That's what separates him from Pepe in my mind. And Pepe will come back. He will track back, but not with the pace and the extent. Not with the, I lost the ball, I'm going to get it back kind of Ainsley type of attitude that Martinelli has. He is a beast, and I think he'd be limited. We'd be limiting his capabilities if we had him play at the 9. Not to mention, we don't really know how he is with his back to goal, a la Lacazette, a la Giroud. I'm in no rush to put him in the 9 just to try to get all 4 of those guys in at the same time. I'm perfectly happy the way it is for now. We just certainly need to be able to do something when Lacazette is gone.
I agree. Also, looking at today's Premier League results, Karl, it is Manchester City 6, Leicester 3. Man City were 4-0 up at one point. The Scum beat Palace 3-0, and apparently Zaha got sent off with a very bad tackle. And West Ham, the team who were below us, I think they were winning in that game at one point, weren't they? They were losing every point during the game. They got it back to a draw. But the team below us lost, and Man City conceded 3, Leicester conceded 6. So Ramsdale is now up to second place in the number of clean sheets in the Premier League. Behind, I've got the plays here. You've got Edison and Alisson. Edison on 10, Alisson on 9, and Ramsdale on 9 as well. Magnificent.
West Ham lost. What game were you looking at?
That's what I said. Oh no, I thought West Ham were winning at one point, but at no point were they winning.
No, they lost 2-1, didn't they? Yeah,
they
lost 3-2.
3-2.
Oh, 3-2. Oh, okay.
And Karl, a little while ago, you said it's only Norwich, and you were referring to kind of the what people say. Not those weren't your words. It was only Norwich when we slid by them 1-0 earlier in the season after losing our first 3 games. Norwich now, if you beat them 5-0 and you use those games to start stacking up goal differential and moving your way up the table, I mean, that's all you can do with those teams. I'm agreeing with you. I'm not disputing what you were saying, but this only Norwich thing, this only Leeds thing with the COVID, I mean, if we show
it's always an Arsenal play, isn't it? It's always an Arsenal play. It's only.
Well, and it's not Arsenal haters that are saying that. It's a lot of people within the Arsenal fan base that are saying that. And, will their point be kind of proven right if we go to Man City we're home with Man City, right?
Yeah.
If we play Man City on New Year's Day and we lose 4-0, then, you can examine that point. But, it's only Norwich, it's only Leeds, it's only West Ham, it's only Leicester. I mean, come on. We're playing Premier League teams. A 5-0 win is fantastic.
Exactly. Like, no matter who it is, you have to play these teams twice. So saying it's like if someone to say that when we played like a non-league team in the FA Cup and we smashed them, you could say, oh yeah, it's only that team. But every single team has to play these Premier League teams twice. So it makes no difference who it is. And, there are some good, when West Ham were beating Liverpool, when West Ham were beating Manchester United and taking points from all squads. People weren't saying it was only West Ham then, but now West Ham are sliding down the table, and they're not playing as well as they possibly could or as they were at the beginning of the season. No one's saying it was only. No one's saying that now. Like they were saying, West Ham were brilliant, but now they're sitting down. It's now, it's only West Ham, and they've got injury crisis. It's like, well, shit, hasn't everyone got injuries?
And for a young team, I would much rather see a young team resolve our recent inability to beat and take maximum points from the teams below us in the table, and worry less about our ability to go out and compete at the same level as Liverpool, Chelsea, and City. I understand those teams have struggled. West Ham's found a way to beat them, so on and so forth. But for a young team, the ability to take 6 points off of Norwich, to hopefully take 6 points off of West Ham, to take 4 to 6 points off of Leicester, which we've got 3 already. That's what I want to see first. And you can get the 4th spot, certainly Europe, by simply beating the bottom teams 3 out of every 4 times that you play them, and losing every single game against the top 3 if that's how it should end up. You can do that as a young team and then say, okay, well, now we need to start competing with these teams. And with the exception of the Everton game this year, that is exactly what this team has done. We've won virtually every game against teams that are likely to end up in the bottom 15. And that's why we sit pretty comfortably in 4th.
I mean, yes. What I don't want is that. Sorry, Danny, just quickly. Like formerly Moses said, like I'm mentally cancelling the New Year's Day game against Man City. Look, if we lose against Man City, which let's be very honest, there's I would say 80% chance that we just might. It doesn't undo us winning 5-0 against Norwich or beating Leeds or beating West Ham. It doesn't undo any of that work. It just so happens that Man City are way, way ahead of us. And if we can pick up points against the other teams, below us or in and around us, it's still 3 points.
It shows us why we're a 4th place team right now rather than a 1st place team. But the last few years we've been an 8th place team. So is that not progress?
Jonas Van Eckhout has given us a thumbs up on Facebook. That's very kind. Stokes, I know you're watching this on Facebook. You haven't given the podcast a like. Don't make me fire you, boy. Right, let's move on to the next goal, Nick. It is on the 82nd minute. It looks like the game is petering out, much like it did between the first and the second goals. Not much happened. And you think, it's 3-0. We'll settle for that. Start bringing on some substitutes. ESR gets the ball in the 10, roughly in about the 8-10 position. And he decides, hold on a sec. And he goes to all the Norwich defence. What's that over there? And they all look round, and he dinks it through to Lacazette, and the bloke has hold of Lacazette. Lacazette's not really going anywhere, brings him down. Absolute penalty. Firstly, Nick, did you think it was a penalty? Second, what did you think about Lacazette taking the penalty? Because personally, I'd have let Ramsdale take the penalty. Imagine that. Top goal scorer in the Premier League, goalkeeper-wise. Start doing it. Do it for the bants, as the cool kids say. What do you think?
No, don't let Ramsdale take the penalty. Bloody idiot. But yeah, I mean, that was a pen. I mean, I don't think, he didn't get booked or anything for it. I just think, like I said, the last 5-10 minutes of the game, I think they were really, everyone was starting to tire a bit now, especially Norwich. The rain and the cold and the horrible weather for the Canaries. And I think he just completely messed it up. And yes, pretty much stonewall penalty. And I mean, Lacazette, I remember before we signed Aubameyang, he was taking all our penalties. And apparently one of the the biggest things we bought him for was really good at taking penalties, like in France and stuff like that. And it just seems that because we bought Aubameyang for a lot more money, like 6-7 months later, we just, he's the captain, he costs more money, he'll take all the penalties. But I don't think Aubameyang's penalties have ever been that good. I mean, especially earlier on when, not so it was all his fault when he missed the penalty against Spurs, but this no-look kicking the ball penalty thing where he's not really looking at the ball and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm happy with Lacazette taking it, and I'm happy with Lacazette, keeping the armband till the end of the season.
Yes, I agree with that. Right, Karl, next one, final goal. And if you've got any questions, people, put them in the chat. Not sure how much longer. We've got about another 7 or 8 minutes. 92nd minute, Karl. Odegaard on the right wing, forward to Pepe. And Pepe showed what he can do again. still got time for Pepe. And Pepe goes into the box, holds it up, and then makes a bit of a move, puts it across the box for ESR to tap home. And then we had a look at the replay, Karl. What did you think about the replay? Do you think it was going to get cancelled, deleted, disallowed? That's the word.
I don't even know what the VAR is doing anymore, because it looked like he was ahead, but then they drew the lines and he was behind, and it just, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea, but it's a good move. It was a good move, and it was nice for Emile Smith-Rowe to get on the score sheet again, because he now has more goals than Harry Kane, I believe, which is embarrassing for Harry Kane, I guess. But no, do you know what? Emile Smith-Rowe is definitely the future of Arsenal. That man is going to be some player. He really is. And if we can keep hold of him, because there are going to be teams that are going to come in for him, and there are going to be, money is going to talk. And, it's only going to be a few years until a team is going to start tapping up his agent, to say, well, if he comes to us, we can give him 250, 300 a week, Man City will never learn. Look what they paid 100 million for Jack Grealish. How's that worked out for them?
That's the first time they've done that, though. To be honest, they pay crazy wages, but I mean, I think their record signing before that was probably 60 million, though, and so the Grealish thing was Rodri, or it was a departure for them, and it's been a complete waste of money so far.
But you're forgetting that no matter what, even if Emile Smith-Rowe does go away, but it's the English premium. Jack Grealish was not worth 100 million. It's because he was English. That's why he's worth 100 million. Well, to Man City at least, anyway.
Well, yeah, he might be worth that to another team that actually would allow him to play all the time.
Hold on, Karl. We've had another thumbs up on Facebook from Matt Roberts, who's in the chat, mate of ours, who's going to come on for a preview show sometime this season. So we've got 6 on there. That's an absolute record. Karl, this point here that where is it? Jove82. I think are you in Belgium, Jove? He says, like I said a minute ago, Tottenham will give us trouble for that, getting that 4th spot. Do you think Spurs are going to trouble us?
Sadly, yes. I genuinely do. I mean, Tottenham have played, 3 less games than us, I believe. I think they were on 16 games, and we played 19. Yeah. And I think they're only,
6.
4 points. 6 points behind us.
Yep.
So 3 games in hand, 6 points behind us, and they have to win those 3 games. I'd rather have points on the board than games in hand, as someone said earlier. However, Conte will get them
those games. Don't want to interrupt you, but they were away at Brighton and away at Leicester. They're not guaranteed all them points from that, are they?
Well, Leicester, yeah, because Leicester are flipping poo.
Oh, and Burnley. They're 3 postponed games, all away. Burnley, Brighton, Leicester. They're not getting 9 points from that, are they?
What kind of special dispensation are they going to get? Like, are they going to be able to have their season stretch into June? Or, because it won't be like games 48 hours from each other to try to make them all up. They're going to...
No. And just like Man United as well, how have Spurs managed to get 3 games cancelled, and so Man United managed to get 3 games cancelled, but everyone else has to play? It's, Femi was talking about it in our group, and it does smell. It smells really badly, just how this has transpired. All of a sudden, Tottenham got all their players back fit, so have Man United, and then all their players are very fresh. So you think what's going to happen? If you watched Liverpool versus Tottenham last week, you could see it that Tottenham players, they didn't play for 2 weeks, so they were at it. They were on it, and just so happens they got a break. And I know people can say, "But it's a conspiracy theory. It's not really that." But you have to look at it and think to yourself, "Really? How?" It just so happens that they managed to get 3 games cancelled. So, and like you said, Mike, I really hope it is 48 hours between games and let them have to moan, because they still haven't been given a date for replaying these games. So
it sucks that they're out of Europe now. I would have actually much preferred that they were still in that competition.
Aren't they legally fighting it?
No, that's for the fans. They're not fighting it at all. They don't want to be in that competition.
They wanted that
at all. Yeah.
Right then, gentlemen. the offspring and her mother are back. Mike, if you go and start your show, I will put the link in the chat for your YouTube, and hopefully everybody to thank Mike for coming on. I hope you're all going to go over to Mike's show, give him a thumbs up and give their channel a subscription. Mike, tell them where to go, and I'll put the link in later.
We're at the Gooners podcast. You can go to Gooners subscribe to check out our page and and watch the show. Or if you want to be on it, you can go to GoonerOpenMic.com and join us in studio. Have your say, like Sean is doing. Hopefully, you can dance better than she does, though. And,
the reindeers.
And that's it. Thanks for having us on.
Call him names. Something.
So 90% of this podcast was hearing from the chat and from Sean.
Hello.
Hello, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean.
How are we all?
Make sure you're not your dad. Your dad said he wants you to sing all night. Do non-stop singing Christmas carols all night, he said.
Okay.
And what's on that hat there? Are those horns? Are you horny?
Yeah, always.
Oh.
I don't know what you're saying, Karl, but it's not good.
I didn't. It wasn't me. I didn't say anything.
Karl, how dare you say that to them?
I'm gonna have to listen to this later to know what they're saying.
Chelsea's losing. Chelsea's losing, so it's time for me to go.
Christmas cheer, Chelsea.
I don't want your life story. Give me the things back. All right.
What do you mean? Oh, bye guys. Love you all. Have a good Christmas.
Enjoy your grassy pizza.
Okay. Right,
Bloody kids. I don't know what you lot were talking about. Mike, are you off? I've put the link in the chat again. We're going to close this show in about a minute. Everybody go over to Mike's channel, thumbs up, subscribe, give him grief. There's 110 of you here. I want all 110 of you to be there. Mike, thank you very much. Not only for taking the green shit off my pizza, getting my daughter drunk, but paying for dinner and for being on the show.
You know, I'm a full service Jew.
Actually, I think 66% of this podcast have met Sean in real life. Karl's met her.
I've met a quarter.
That would be 75%, Danny.
I mean, if you lot, I've obviously met her. Right, go away. We're going to end the show. Cheers, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Karl,
Nick, great to see you.
Right.
Karl, Nick,
yes.
we've got two questions. Give one for each of you. The first one for you, Karl, is from Julio Salmondo, who is in Kathmandu, I think he said. Who should we look to sign in January?
A striker. Who that striker is, I don't know. I know there's a lot of people talking about the guy from Fiorentina. I don't know if he's just a flavour of the season at the moment because he is playing quite well. But we definitely do need a striker because if those players that we've got, if they had a decent striker in front of them, we would do absolutely brilliant. So definitely a striker. And the reports of Ainsley Maitland-Niles to Europa are growing stronger and stronger, and more people are talking about it. So we need to watch out for that one as well.
They're putting in the chat after half an hour. Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 0. I said on the last podcast, can we catch Chelsea, Nick? Oh, anyway, Nick, here's your question. It is from Craig Barlow. I know Miguel Aziz is not the answer, but would Arsenal recall him as we are short in January? I can't remember, he's on loan too, but he's definitely one of our young Portsmouth. That's it. Cheers, Karl. So, yes, what do you think, Nick? Should we get him back, or do you want to answer the should we sell Aubameyang in January from formerly Noza?
I'll do the Aubameyang one. If we can sell or do a loan swap deal and get rid of Aubameyang in January, or get like one of the strikers we're going after in the summer, whether that's that Calvert-Lewin or something, where we have to either pay a bit more money to get them in now, then I'd do that. But they've got to sort out Aubameyang. They've got to sort out what's going on. I know they haven't said anything since they stripped him of the captaincy, or weirdly, his side hasn't said anything. They've been completely silent. So it maybe proves that they have. I think there's something more to this than just being late for training. I think there are the rumours of him going to Barcelona, like with a loan with a view to buy. That there could be something in that. And I don't know, is that I haven't really seen a lot of that Dembele because I think he's been a bit of a flop since he left Dortmund for them. So would you two be happy to get him on loan, like a swap loan deal for 6 months, and then worry about it in the summer?
No, because he's very injury prone. So for me, that's a no. Because he comes to us. Think of Arsenal's injury record usually, and now you're getting an injury prone player to play for Arsenal. He played 2 games and would never flipping play again. So yeah,
We do sign people with broken backs, though, Karl.
This is true, but Dembele is different. He plays 1 game, he's out for 3 months. Comes back 1 game, he's out for another month. No, his injury record is atrocious, so definitely not. And Chelsea just have got a penalty, bastards.
Of course they have.
Right, there we go, people. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Karl. You've been magnificent as always. I should have really put you in charge, shouldn't I? Would have got on with this much quicker.
We definitely would have, Danny. But Danny, this is all down to you. I just want to wish also everyone, I hope everyone's had a very Merry Christmas, no matter what you're doing. Even if you're alone, you're never really alone because you've always got ABW. And just think, no matter how bad things are, you don't have Chris Carpenter's dress sense. That is always a positive.
That's very true. And also, thank you very much, Nick, for joining us. It's very nice for you to not go to the game so you can be with us.
Yeah, I missed a rubbish game, though. When it was 5-0, that was a rubbish game. It was only Norwich.
It is indeed. But before we go, finally, top right-hand corner, Goonaholic sadly passed away 2 years ago yesterday. Not a day goes by where something doesn't happen, where one of us doesn't think about Dave and what a massive hole he left in the podcasting world by not being here. Mike did a really nice tribute show yesterday. Jason, who used to be on here, was on there. Jock from here was on there. Some of David's relatives are on there. Really nice. That's on YouTube. So if you get some time, go and have a look at that. Thank you very much to Mike for joining us. Thank you very much to everybody in the chat. You have all been wonderful. If you're new to the show, possibly subscribe or give it a thumbs up. In the chat now, I'm putting a little link to Mike's show. They are live right now, and they have got 7 people watching them. Go and make some fellow Gooners happy. Go give them a watch. I'll be putting that on. And we will see you for the Wolves game. And I might be doing a little special something on New Year's Eve because I'm all on my own. So I might do an ABW New Year's Eve extravaganza if enough people say you want it. Right. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. And up the Arsenal.